Imagine this, a high-flying CEO, the kind of guy who's got the world in his pocket. Private jets, corner office, the works. Finds himself stranded at a bustling airport, his perfect life unraveling in a single moment. And then, out of nowhere, he meets her. A woman who's nothing like anyone he's ever known. One conversation, one fleeting connection, and suddenly, he's questioning everything. Why does this one encounter make him wish he'd missed his flight forever? What's so special about her? And what's the secret that's got him spiraling? You're here because you want answers, and I promise you by the end of this video, you'll get them. Stick with me, because this story is going to hit you right in the heart, and you won't want to miss a single second of it. Let's dive into this wild emotional ride together, and trust me, you're going to feel like you're right there with them, caught up in a moment that changes everything. You know that feeling when life throws you a curveball, and suddenly, you're not sure who you are anymore? That's exactly where we're starting. Picture Jonathan Hayes, a 42-year-old CEO of a tech empire that's plastered across Forbes and CNBC. He's the guy who's always in control, the one who makes million-dollar decisions before breakfast and never breaks a sweat. But today, he's stuck at JFK Airport, his flight delayed, his phone blowing up with urgent emails, and his patience wearing thin. The airport is a chaotic mess. Crowds pushing, announcements blaring, and that stale coffee smell lingering in the air. Jonathan's used to being untouchable, but right now, he's just another frustrated traveler, pacing by the gate, his tailored suit feeling a little too tight. You've been there, haven't you? That moment when you're stuck somewhere, and it feels like the universe is testing you. You're annoyed, you're restless, and you're wondering why life can't just cooperate for once. That's where Jonathan is, except he has no idea that his entire world is about to flip upside down. And I know you're wondering, what's coming next? What's going to make this polished, powerful man wish he'd never stepped foot on that plane? Keep watching, because I'm going to lay it all out for you, and I promise it's going to be worth it. Now, let's talk about you for a second. You're here, clicking on this video because you love a good story. One that pulls you in, makes you feel something, and maybe even makes you think about your own life a little differently. Maybe you've had a moment like this yourself. A chance encounter, a conversation with a stranger that stuck with you long after it was over. Or maybe you're just curious about what could possibly shake a guy like Jonathan, who seems to have it all. Either way, you're in the right place. This isn't just another YouTube video. This is a story about connection, about those rare moments that make you question everything you thought you knew. And I'm going to tell it in a way that makes you feel like you're sitting across from me, hearing it firsthand. You're not just watching. You're part of this. You're going to laugh, you're going to gasp, and yeah, you might even tear up a little. But most importantly, you're going to want to know what happens next. So, don't even think about clicking away. You and we're in this together, and I'm not letting you go until you've got the full picture. Let's set the scene a bit more, because I want you to feel this. It's late afternoon at JFK, the kind of day where the sky is gray, and everyone's just trying to get somewhere else. Jonathan's sitting at a crowded gate, scrolling through his phone, when he notices her, a woman sitting a few seats away, reading a worn-out paperback. She's in her early 30s, with a messy bun and a scarf that's slipping off her shoulder. Nothing about her screams extraordinary at first glance, but there's something about the way she's lost in her book, completely unbothered by the chaos around her, that catches his eye. Her name's Emily, though he doesn't know that yet. To him, she's just a stranger, someone who doesn't belong in his world of boardrooms and black-tie galas. But when their eyes meet, just for a split second, it's like the noise of the airport fades away. You know that feeling, right? When you lock eyes with someone, and for no reason at all, your heart skips a beat. That's what Jonathan feels, and it throws him off. He's not the type to get flustered, but suddenly, he's wondering who she is and why she's got him so curious. You're probably thinking, okay, so they talk, and then what? Oh, it's so much more than that. This isn't just a meet cute. It's the start of something that's going to unravel secrets, spark regrets, and leave you wondering how one moment can change a life forever. Here's where I need you to lean in, because this is the part that's going to hook you. Jonathan and Emily start talking. Nothing fancy, just small talk about delayed flights and overpriced airport coffee. But the more they talk, the more he realizes she's different. She's sharp, funny, and completely unimpressed by his CEO status. She's not trying to sell him something or network or get anything out of him. She's just real. And that's what gets under his skin. For the first time in years, he's not Jonathan Hayes, the titan of industry. He's just John, a guy stuck at an airport, laughing with a woman who makes him forget about his inbox. But here's the kicker. There's something she's not telling him. Something big. You can see it in the way her smile falters when he asks about her life, the way she changes the subject just a little too quickly. And Jonathan, for all his smarts, doesn't pick up on it. Not yet. You're probably screaming at the screen right now, wanting to know what she's hiding. Is it a heartbreak? A secret mission? Something darker? I'm not going to spoil it here, but I will tell you this. What Emily's holding back is the key to why Jonathan wishes he'd missed that flight. And you're going to find out exactly what it is if you stick with me until the end. Let's talk about why this matters to you. Stories like this, they're not just entertainment. They're a mirror. They make you think about the moments in your own life that changed you, the people who came and went and left you different. Maybe it was a stranger you met on a trip, a conversation that made you see the world in a new way. Or maybe it's a regret, a what if, that still lingers in the back of your mind. That's what this story is about. The power of a single moment, the way it can shift everything. Jonathan's life is picture-perfect on the outside, but deep down, he's been running on empty, chasing success and missing out on something real. Emily, with her messy bun and her guarded smile, is about to show him what he's been missing. And you, watching this, you're going to feel it too. You're going to wonder what you'd do in his shoes, what you'd risk for a chance at something that feels true. That's why you can't look away. Not yet. We're building to something huge, and I'm going to guide you through every twist and turn until you're sitting there, jaw dropped, thinking, I didn't see that coming. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds juicy, but where's it going? I'm not going to give you the whole puzzle just yet, but I'll give you a piece to chew on. As Jonathan and Emily talk, the airport starts to feel less like a prison and more like a bubble. A place where time slows down, and the rest of the world doesn't matter. They're swapping stories, laughing about nothing, and for a moment, it's perfect. But then, something shifts. Emily says something, a single sentence, that makes Jonathan freeze. It's not dramatic, not some big soap opera moment, but it's enough to make him realize there's more to her story than she's letting on. And here's where it gets real. He's got a choice. His flight's about to board, and he can walk away, back to his polished life, and never see her again. Or he can stay, chase this feeling, and risk everything he's built. You're probably yelling at him to stay, right? But what would you do? Would you take the safe path, or would you throw it all away for a stranger who feels like home? That's the question that's going to hang over this whole story, and I'm going to make sure you get the answer by the time the credits roll. Before we go any further, let me make you a promise. You're not just watching a video. You're on a journey with me. I'm not here to waste your time with fluff or clickbait. Every second of this story is crafted to keep you hooked, to make you feel like you're living it alongside Jonathan and Emily. You're going to see their highs, their lows, and the moment that changes everything. And when we get to the end, you're going to know exactly why Jonathan wishes he'd missed that flight forever. But you've got to trust me and stick around. Don't skip ahead, don't click away. Let this story unfold the way it's meant to. You're going to laugh, you're going to feel your heart race, and you're going to be thinking about this long after the video ends. So, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's keep going. You're not just a viewer, you're part of this story, and I'm counting on you to see it through. Here's where we're at. Jonathan standing at the gate, his boarding pass in hand, the final call for his flight echoing through the terminal. Emily's still there, her book closed now, watching him with those eyes that seem to see right through him. He's got seconds to decide. Get on the plane, or stay and figure out what this moment means. The tension's thick, the clock's ticking, and you can feel it, can't you? That pull between what's safe and what's possible. You're probably wondering what he's going to do, what Emily's hiding, and how this one airport encounter could possibly turn his life upside down. I'm not going to lie, this is where things get messy, emotional, and downright wild. But I'm not spilling the beans just yet. You want to know what happens next? You want to know why Jonathan's ready to throw it all away? Then keep your eyes on the screen, because the next part is going to blow your mind, and it all starts with one choice he's about to make. Right there, in the humming chaos of JFK's terminal, Jonathan Hayes stands frozen, his boarding pass crinkling in his grip as the gate agent's voice cuts through the air, urging passengers to board. Emily's still sitting a few feet away, her scarf now draped loosely around her neck, her eyes locked on him with an intensity that makes his chest tighten. You can feel the weight of this moment, can't you? It's not just about a flight. It's about a choice that could unravel everything he's built, everything he's convinced himself he needs. You're probably screaming at him to stay, to chase whatever this spark is with Emily. But let's pull back and dig into who Jonathan really is, because understanding him is the key to why this moment matters so much. Jonathan's life looks like a dream from the outside. CEO of a tech giant, Innovatech, that's revolutionizing AI and raking in billions. He's the guy you see on magazine covers, with a sharp jawline and a smile that screams confidence. But beneath the polish, he's been running on fumes. His marriage to Claire, a high-powered attorney, has been more of a business merger than a love story for years. Their conversations reduced to schedules and logistics. His teenage daughter Mia barely looks up from her phone when he's around, and he can't shake the guilt that he's missed too many of her soccer games, her recitals, her life. He's been so busy chasing success that he's forgotten what it feels like to feel. Until Emily, with her quiet laugh and her knack for seeing through his carefully crafted armor, walked into his world. You're wondering what makes her so special, aren't you? What's got this untouchable man ready to throw it all away? Hold tight, because we're about to peel back the layers, and I promise, it's going to keep you hooked. Let's talk about Emily for a minute, because she's not just some random stranger who wandered into Jonathan's orbit. She's got her own story, one that's simmering just below the surface, and it's every bit as tangled as his. Emily Harper, 34, is a freelance photographer who spent the last decade chasing stories in places most people only see on the news. War zones, refugee camps, forgotten corners of the world. Her photos have been in National Geographic, but she's not in it for the fame. There's a fire in her, a need to capture truth, to give a voice to people who've been silenced. But that kind of life comes at a cost. She's been running too, not from failure like Jonathan fears, but from something personal, something that's left shadows in her eyes. You caught that, didn't you? The way she dodged his questions about her past, the way her fingers tightened around her book when he asked where she's headed. She's not just passing through JFK on her way to another assignment. She's on her way to Chicago, and there's a reason she's nervous about it. You're probably thinking, okay, what's she hiding? Is it an ex? A family drama? Something bigger? I'm not going to spill it all yet, but here's a hint. Emily's carrying a secret that ties her to someone in Jonathan's world, someone he'd never expect. And when that connection comes to light, it's going to shake him to his core. You're invested now, aren't you? You want to know how their stories collide. Keep watching because this is where things start to get juicy. Now, let's widen the lens and bring in another perspective, because this story isn't just about Jonathan and Emily. Back in New York, Claire Hayes is sitting in her corner office, her phone buzzing with notifications as she finalizes a high-stakes case. She's the kind of woman who commands a room, her heels clicking with purpose, her mind always 3 steps ahead. But today, something's off. She's been trying to reach Jonathan for hours, and his one-word texts aren't cutting it. Claire's not the jealous type, she's too practical for that, but she knows her husband well enough to sense when he's distracted. What she doesn't know is that he's on the verge of a decision that could upend their carefully curated life. You're probably wondering if Claire's the villain here, the cold wife who drove him into Emily's arms. It's not that simple. Claire's got her own struggles, her own regrets. She loves Jonathan, but their marriage has been a balancing act, stretched thin by their careers and the demands of raising Mia. And Mia? Oh, she's a whole subplot of her own. At 16, she's rebellious, sharp-tongued, and secretly hurting. She's been acting out lately, skipping classes, posting cryptic TikToks about needing to escape. Claire thinks it's just teenage angst, but there's more to it, something Mia's not telling anyone. You can feel the tension building, right? All these lives, orbiting around each other, about to collide in ways no one sees coming. You're not just watching a love story. You're watching a web of secrets, choices, and consequences that's going to keep you guessing. Let's zoom back to the airport, because that's where the heart of this story is beating right now. Jonathan's still standing there, the gate agent giving him that last chance look as passengers shuffle past. Emily's watching him, her expression unreadable, and you can tell she's wrestling with something too. Should she let him go, let this moment fade into a memory? Or should she say something, anything to keep him here? Their conversation has gone beyond small talk now. They've shared enough to know there's a connection, the kind that doesn't come along every day. He's told her about the pressure he's under, the way his life feels like a treadmill he can't step off. She's opened up, just a little, about her love for photography, the way it lets her freeze moments that matter. but there's still that wall between them, that unspoken truth she's holding back. You're dying to know what it is, aren't you? Here's where I throw in another layer of mystery. As they're talking, Jonathan notices a small tattoo on Emily's wrist, a tiny compass, half hidden under her sleeve. When he asks about it, she brushes it off, but there's a flicker of panic in her eyes. That tattoo means something, and it's not just a random design. It's a clue, a thread that ties her to her past, and to someone in Jonathan's life. You're probably racking your brain, trying to piece it together. Is it a lover? A tragedy? A promise she made? I'm not going to tell you yet, but I will say this: that compass is going to lead us somewhere unexpected, and you're going to want to be here when it does. Let's talk about the stakes, because this isn't just about two people flirting at an airport. For Jonathan, staying with Emily means risking everything. His career, his family, the empire he's built. Innovatech is on the verge of a major deal, one that could cement his legacy or crash and burn if he's not there to steer it. His board is already whispering about his distractions, and Claire's not the type to let a marriage dissolve quietly. And then there's Mia, who needs her dad now more than ever, even if she won't admit it. You're probably thinking, just get on the plane, Jonathan. Don't blow it all for a stranger. But you also get it, don't you? That pull, that what if, that makes you wonder if you're living the life you're meant to. Emily's stakes are just as high, though she's playing her cards closer to her chest. Going to Chicago isn't just a trip for her. It's a reckoning. She's been avoiding this for years, and now, with Jonathan looking at her like she's the answer to a question he's never asked, she's tempted to run again. You can feel the push and pull, the way their choices are tangling together, creating a knot that's going to take the whole story to unravel. You're not just watching, you're invested, wondering how far they'll go, what they'll sacrifice, and what that secret is that's lurking just out of sight. Here's where we crank up the suspense. As Jonathan hesitates, his phone buzzes with a text from Claire. Call me. Nah. It's about Mia. His stomach drops. Mia's been distant, sure, but this feels different, urgent. He glances at Emily, who's pretending to check her phone but clearly watching him. He could ignore the text, stay in this bubble with her, chase the feeling that's making his heart race. Or he could call Claire, step back into his real life, and let Emily become a what might have been. You're on the edge of your seat, right? Wondering what's wrong with Mia, what Emily's hiding, and whether Jonathan's going to make the biggest mistake of his life. And then, just as he's about to decide, Emily stands up, slings her bag over her shoulder, and says, I should go. My flight's boarding soon. But the way she says it, the way her voice catches, tells you she doesn't want to leave. There's something she's not saying, something she's dying to tell him, and it's right there on the tip of her tongue. You're yelling at the screen now, begging her to spit it out, begging him to stop her. What's going to happen next? Will he let her walk away? Will he chase her and risk it all? And what's the deal with that compass tattoo? You're not getting those answers just yet, but I promise if you stick with me, you're going to find out, and it's going to be a wild ride. The air in JFK's terminal feels heavier now, thick with the weight of unspoken words as Emily stands, her bag slung over her shoulder, her eyes flickering between Jonathan and the gate where her Chicago flight is boarding. Jonathan's heart is pounding, his phone still buzzing with Claire's cryptic text about Mia, and you can feel the moment teetering on a knife's edge. You're right there with him, aren't you? Torn between the pull of this stranger who's awakened something he thought he'd lost and the tug of his real life, where his daughter might need him more than ever. He opens his mouth to say something. Maybe to ask Emily to wait, maybe to finally ask what she's holding back, but before he can, a man's voice cuts through the crowd, sharp and urgent. Emily Harper? Is that you? Both Jonathan and Emily turn, and there's a guy striding toward them, mid-30s, with a weathered jacket and a look in his eyes that's equal parts relief and desperation. Emily's face drains of color, her fingers tightening around her bag strap. And you know right then, that this isn't just a random interruption. This guy, his name's Matt, though Jonathan doesn't know that yet, knows her and not in a casual, hey, long time no see way. There's history here, and it's messy. You're probably leaning closer to the screen, wondering who this guy is, what he wants, and how he's about to blow this fragile moment between Jonathan and Emily to pieces. Buckle up, because this twist is going to crank the stakes sky high, and I promise, you're not going to see where this is headed. Let's rewind just a bit to make sense of this bombshell, because Matt's arrival isn't just a coincidence. It's a collision of worlds that's been years in the making. Emily's been cagey about her past, and now you're starting to see why. Matt's a journalist, someone she worked with years ago in Syria, chasing stories that put them both in danger. They were close. Maybe too close. And the compass tattoo on her wrist? It's not just a pretty design. It's a symbol of a promise they made to each other, one forged in a moment of life or death intensity. But something went wrong, something that drove a wedge between them and sent Emily running from that life, from him, from everything. You're probably piecing it together thinking, okay, so Matt's her ex, and he's here to stir up trouble. But it's not that simple. Matt's not just here for Emily. He's chasing a story, one that's bigger than both of them, and it's tied to Innovatech, Jonathan's company. You heard that right. The tech empire Jonathan's built, the one he sacrificed everything for, is somehow tangled up with Emily's past and Matt's mission. You're dying to know how, aren't you? What's the connection? Is it corruption? A cover-up? Something even darker? I'm not going to lay it all out yet, but let's just say that when these three lives intersect, secrets are going to spill, and nothing will be the same. Back at the airport, the tension is electric as Matt reaches Emily, his eyes searching her face like he's seeing a ghost. Jonathan's standing there, caught off guard, his instincts screaming that this guy's trouble. Emily's trying to keep it together, but you can see the cracks. Her voice is too tight. Her smile too forced. "Matt, what are you doing here?" she asks, and there's an edge to it, like she's bracing for impact. Matt doesn't answer right away. Instead, he glances at Jonathan, sizing him up, and you can tell he's clocked the expensive suit, the CEO vibe. "Who's this?" Matt asks, and it's not friendly. Jonathan, never one to back down, steps forward, introducing himself, but there's a flicker of unease in his gut. He's not just jealous. He's starting to sense that Emily's world is a lot more complicated than he realized. You're probably shouting at the screen, wanting Jonathan to push for answers, wanting Emily to explain who Matt is and why she's so rattled. But here's where it gets wild. Matt drops a bombshell. "I've been trying to find you for months," he says to Emily, his voice low but urgent. "It's about Damascus. It's not over." Damascus? What does that mean? Jonathan's confused, and so are you, but Emily's reaction tells you everything you need to know. She's terrified. Her past, whatever she's been running from, just caught up with her, and it's about to drag Jonathan into the mess. You're hooked now, right? Wondering what happened in Damascus, what Matt's chasing, and how Innovatech fits into this puzzle. Meanwhile, the subplot with Claire and Mia is heating up, adding another layer of pressure to Jonathan's already chaotic moment. Back in New York, Claire's pacing her office, her phone pressed to her ear as she talks to Mia's school counselor. Mia's been suspended, caught sneaking out of class to meet someone off campus, someone the school doesn't know. Claire's furious, but she's also scared. Mia's been distant, secretive, and those TikToks she's been posting? They're not just teenage rebellion. There's a pattern, cryptic messages about finding the truth and breaking free. You're probably thinking, what's Mia mixed up in? Is it just a phase, or is she in real trouble? Claire's starting to suspect it's the latter, and she's desperate to get Jonathan on the phone, because she knows he's the only one who can get through to their daughter. But Jonathan's not answering. He's too caught up in the airport drama, too tangled in Emily's orbit and Matt's unexpected arrival. You can feel the stakes climbing, can't you? Mia's spiraling, Claire's unraveling, and Jonathan standing at a crossroads that could change everything. You're not just watching a story, you're living it, feeling the pull of every choice, every secret, every moment that's pushing these characters toward a breaking point. Let's dive deeper into Matt's role, because his presence is the spark that's about to set this story on fire. He's not just a ghost from Emily's past. He's a man on a mission, and he's carrying a weight that's eating him alive. Back in Syria, he and Emily were working on a story about a tech company funneling money through shell corporations. A story that got too dangerous to pursue. People got hurt, promises were broken, and Emily walked away, leaving Matt to pick up the pieces. Now, he's got new evidence, and it points straight to Innovatech. You're probably gasping, right? Jonathan's company, the one he's poured his life into, is under scrutiny, and Matt thinks Emily knows something that could blow the lid off it. But here's the twist. Emily doesn't know the full story. She's been out of the game for years, trying to rebuild her life, and Matt's sudden appearance is dragging her back into a fight she thought she'd escaped. You're wondering if she's going to run again, or if she's going to face whatever's coming. And Jonathan, he's caught in the middle, his loyalty to his company clashing with the connection he feels to Emily. You're probably screaming, "Jonathan, ask more questions." figure out what's going on. But he's too blindsided, too drawn to Emily, to see the bigger picture. And that's what makes this so gripping. You know more than he does, and you're dying to see how he's going to react when the truth starts to surface. The airport scene is reaching a fever pitch now, and you can feel the climax looming, even if it's not here yet. Emily's trying to deflect Matt, telling him this isn't the time or place, but he's not backing down. You can't keep running, he says, and there's a rawness in his voice that makes Jonathan pause. Running from what? Jonathan's about to demand answers when his phone rings. Claire, again, and this time, he can't ignore it. He steps away, just a few feet, but it's enough for Matt to lean in and whisper something to Emily, something that makes her eyes widen in shock. You didn't hear it, and neither did Jonathan, but you know it's big. Was it about Innovatech? About Damascus? About something else entirely? Emily's shaking now, her composure crumbling, and you're right there with her. Your heart racing as you try to piece together what's happening. Jonathan finishes his call. Claire's voice was frantic, something about Mia being missing now, not just suspended, and he turns back to see Emily and Matt locked in a tense whispered argument. He's had enough. What's going on, he demands, his CEO authority kicking in, but before anyone can answer, the gate agent makes the final boarding call for his flight. The clock's run out. He's got to choose. Get on the plane and deal with Mia's crisis, or stay and unravel the mystery that's swallowing him whole. You're practically yelling at the screen, aren't you? What's he going to do? What did Matt whisper? And how is Mia's disappearance tied to all this? Don't click away, because the next part is going to take this story to a whole new level, and you're not going to want to miss it. The terminal at JFK is a pressure cooker now, the final boarding call for Jonathan's flight echoing like a ticking clock as he stands between Emily and Matt, his phone still warm from Claire's frantic call about Mia's disappearance. You're right there with him, aren't you? Your heart's racing, your mind spinning with questions. What did Matt whisper to Emily? What's the truth about Damascus? And where is Mia? Emily's eyes are wide, her breath uneven, as Matt's words, whatever they were, hang in the air like a storm about to break. Jonathan's done playing bystander. Enough, he snaps, his voice cutting through the tension. Someone tell me what's going on now. Matt hesitates, glancing at Emily, but she's the one who speaks first, her voice low but steady. It's about your company, Jonathan. Innovatech. It's not what you think it is. You feel the ground shift, don't you? The empire Jonathan's built, the legacy he's bled for, is crumbling in real time, and Emily's words are the first crack. Matt steps in, his tone urgent. There's a whistleblower, someone inside your company, feeding me documents. They tie Innovatech to illegal arms deals in Syria, routed through shell companies. Emily was there when it started, years ago. She didn't know it was your company until now. You're gasping, right? Jonathan's world is imploding, and the woman he's falling for is tangled in the very scandal that could destroy him. But there's no time to process, because Claire's call about Mia is burning in his mind, and he's got seconds to decide. Stay and face this nightmare, or board the plane and find his daughter. You're on the edge of your seat, wondering how this all connects, and I promise, we're diving straight into the climax, with a twist that'll leave you stunned. Let's unpack this bombshell, because the truth about Innovatech is the heart of the storm. Years ago, in Damascus, Emily and Matt were investigating a shadowy network funneling weapons to conflict zones. Emily's photos captured evidence, encrypted files, coded transactions, but the story was too dangerous, and their source disappeared. She walked away, haunted by the lives she couldn't save, and got that compass tattoo as a reminder to keep searching for truth. Matt kept digging, and now he's got proof. Innovatech's AI tech, marketed as cutting-edge for global security, has been repurposed to mask illegal arms deals. You're probably thinking, how did Jonathan not know? He's asking himself the same thing, his mind racing back to late-night board meetings, vague reports he signed off on, trusting his team. But here's the kicker. The whistleblower isn't just some rogue employee. It's Mia. You heard that right. Jonathan's 16-year-old daughter, the one who's been posting cryptic TikToks about finding the truth, hacked into Innovatech's servers. She found the files, leaked them to Matt, and now she's missing because someone at the company knows she's onto them. You're reeling, aren't you? Mia's not just rebelling. She's at the center of this conspiracy, and her disappearance is no coincidence. Jonathan's phone buzzes again, and this time it's a text from an unknown number. Stop asking questions, or Mia pays. You feel the panic, the betrayal, the weight of every choice Jonathan's made. He looks at Emily, then Matt, and you know he's not getting on that plane. He's all in, and so are you. The climax hits like a freight train as Jonathan, Emily, and Matt huddle in a corner of the airport, piecing together a plan. Jonathan's shaking, not from fear but from rage. At his company, at himself at the thought of Mia in danger. Emily's the one who grounds him, her hand brushing his arm, her voice calm but fierce. "We'll find her," she says, and for the first time, Jonathan sees the woman who faced war zones, who never backed down. Matt pulls up encrypted files on his laptop, showing transactions that trace back to Innovatech's CFO, Richard Klein, a man Jonathan trusted like a brother. You're probably shouting, "Get him!" But it's not that simple. Klein's powerful, connected, and he's already covering his tracks. The trio decides to split up. Matt will contact his sources to track Klein's movements, while Jonathan and Emily head to Innovatech's New York headquarters, where Mia was last seen. You're right there with them, feeling the urgency as they race through the airport, dodging security, their connection deepening with every step. Emily opens up about Damascus, about the guilt she's carried, and Jonathan confesses his own failures. Missing Mia's games, letting his marriage with Claire fade. You're tearing up, aren't you? This isn't just about a scandal. It's about two people finding redemption, fighting for what matters. But the clock's ticking, and Mia's running out of time. At Innovatech's sleek headquarters, the stakes hit their peak. Jonathan and Emily sneak into the server room, using his CEO access, and find Mia's digital footprint. Her hack left a trail, and Klein's goons are closing in. You're holding your breath as they download the files, but then the lights flicker, and security alarms blare. Klein's there, flanked by two men, his face cold. "You should have stayed in the air, Jonathan," he sneers, revealing he's been skimming millions through the arms deals, framing Jonathan as the fall guy. You're screaming, "No way!" But Emily's quick. She grabs a fire extinguisher, sprays it to create cover, and they bolt, files in hand. Outside, Matt's waiting with a car, and you're cheering as they speed away, but the victory's bittersweet. Mia's still missing, and Klein's men are on their tail. Then, Jonathan's phone pings, a video from Mia, tied up in a warehouse, her voice trembling but defiant. "Dad, I'm sorry. I had to do it. You're crying now, right?" Jonathan's world is shattering, but Emily's there, her compass tattoo catching the light, reminding him to stay true. They trace the video to a dockside warehouse, and you know this is it, the final stand. The resolution unfolds with heart-pounding intensity as Jonathan, Emily, and Matt storm the warehouse. You're right there, feeling every moment as they dodge Klein's hired muscle, working together like they've known each other forever. Jonathan finds Mia, unties her, and you're sobbing as they hug, his apologies mixing with her tears. But Klein's not done. He's got one last card to play, pulling a gun, ready to end it all. You're terrified, but Emily steps forward, her voice steady. "You're done, Richard. The files are all ready with the FBI." It's a bluff, but it works. Klein hesitates, and Matt tackles him, ending the threat. You're cheering, aren't you? The police arrive, tipped off by Matt's sources, and Klein's arrested, his empire crumbling. Mia's safe, the files expose Innovatech's corruption, and Jonathan steps down as CEO, vowing to rebuild his life with honesty. You're thinking it's over, right? A perfect ending. But here's the final twist. As Jonathan and Emily stand outside, catching their breath, she pulls out her book, the one she was reading at the airport. Tucked inside is a photo of her and a young girl, smiling, with Jonathan's company logo in the background. "This was my sister," Emily says, her voice breaking. "She worked for Innovatech. She died because of Klein's deals." You're stunned, aren't you? Emily's connection to Jonathan wasn't random. Her sister's death drove her to Damascus, to this moment, to him. You're in awe, feeling the weight of fate, of second chances. As the dust settles, the subplots find closure, leaving you satisfied but reflective. Claire and Jonathan sit down with Mia, promising to be better parents, even if their marriage might not survive. Mia, shaken but stronger, starts a blog about her hack, inspiring others to seek truth. Matt and Emily part ways, their old wounds healed, his story about Innovatech set to break records. Jonathan and Emily don't rush into anything, but you know they're linked now, their paths forever changed. You're left with a powerful takeaway. Life's biggest moments, the ones that define you, often come when you least expect them, like a chance meeting at an airport. You're thinking about your own life now, aren't you? The people, the choices, the what-ifs that shape you. This story's not just a wild ride. It's a mirror, showing you the power of courage, connection, and truth. So, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs it, and let me know in the comments. What moment changed your life? Stick around, because we've got more stories coming, and you're part of this journey now.